I want to look at 22, which is subtitled here, The Death of Hector. It's not the only thing that happens here, but it's a big thing. It is the climactic battle of this epic. The war significantly will go on after this. This is not the end of the war. This is, in fact, only a couple of weeks in the life of the war. And most of the action in this is really just a couple of days. So again, think of that 10 years. But this little drama that's been playing out reaches a certain climax when the two great heroes finally square off. You know, it's very Hollywood. That's what seems like it's been leading up to. It's like, okay, it's got to be a battle, got to be a fight. It's going to be the two guys mano a mano. A little cliche, but it works. Derek, what happens here?
So they start off with Hector standing at the front of Troy, looking at what seems to be like, how should I describe it? They give Achilles this really godlike image as he approaches the walls of Troy. So you have Hector standing here as his father Priam and his wife beg him to come down. So after that, you get Hector over here, all with his pride and encouragement and all that. That all seeps away as Achilles comes closer, and you basically have this ring around the rosy where Achilles starts chasing Hector as Hector runs away from him.
I love Ring Around the Rosie. Very visceral.
So they do this for 3 times, and as they're doing this, the gods are watching over them. And there was one part that stood out to me where the gods were looking at this chase, and Zeus was basically scaling Hector's death and Achilles' death on scale, which was interesting. And so all the gods were watching this as well, and each god had their own side, but it ultimately came down to quote-unquote fate, in which Hector was to die. And so Zeus commanded Athena to come down to talk Hector into fighting instead of running. And she also talked Achilles into holding his ground instead of chasing, to give her time to talk to Hector. And so after persuading Hector turns to fight Achilles. And this fight was really short-lived. It wasn't like a fight you'd expect. So when they fight, Achilles stands in front of Hector and all that, and what happens is Achilles throws his spear at him. It misses, but Athena grabs it for him and brings it back to him. Hector then throws his spear and misses. And it's like, alas, I'm dead. You know, like the one miss, I'm dead. Achilles comes in and kills him. And I believe he kills him by stabbing him in the neck. And so Hector dies, and to avenge Patroclus, I think his name is, I think I butchered it. He grabs his body, buries it, and drags Hector's body along where he buried
All right, well, very good. It is a little bit strange when they actually get to the fight. Climactic battles are, for in terms of drama, are always a big problem. Watch the Rocky movie series, and it shows you like, well, how do you make this different? Oh, they're gonna fight. Okay, yeah, and the one guy's gonna win. We all know that. It's hard to really make that interesting. But there's more than just this fight going on here. It's more than just the two heroes. They're representing very different things. So it becomes more of a contest of these two character traits. Because this isn't the end of the story. There are, in fact, two more books or chapters after this. The contrast between the two of them is drawn pretty relentlessly. Watching how they're both portrayed and the stakes that they each have in this fight is interesting. And getting into it and trying to see it from their perspective yields an awful lot. On my page 297, roughly line 25, right at the beginning of this book, we see his father, Hector's father. And old Priam first beheld him with his eyes as, shining like a star, Achilles streaked across the plain, the star that comes at summer's end, blah, 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 blah. Throughout, you are reminded that Hector is on the outside of the city walls, protecting it. He knows the odds are against him, to be, to understate it. But he still does. Why? Why does he stand in front of the city walls? What's that?
He has a family behind his wall.
He has a family behind the walls. He is also a prince, the son of the king. By all accounts, the greatest son of the king, and presumably the heir apparent to the throne. So, yeah, he is protecting his family, but by extension, who is his family? The whole city. Theoretically, well, not theoretically, he actually has, I believe, 49 brothers and sisters, so it's pretty close to the whole city right there, if you want to open it up to family. But he is doing his duty. And think back to when he comes back in that little scene in book 6 where he comes back to Troy and he says, he pushes his mom off, says, no, you want me to rest? You want me to drink a glass of wine and unwind a little bit? I can't. I have to go back and fight. He is duty bound. And there's something quite admirable in that. He knows he's going to die, but he's standing there in front of the walls saying, if I'm going to die, I'm going to die with honor. I'm going to die trying to save my family, my city, my way of life. And you see, and this is pointed out by his family watching. His father is watching Achilles come. And there's repeated reference throughout to his father and his mother, and even at times his wife. On line 24, we see his father. On line 79, his mother. Now, in turn, his mother wailed, raining tears. Hector, my child, be moved by this and have pity on me. Pity is a very big thing. It is not repeated just because Homer likes to repeat things. He is driving a point. Pity is repeated. Repetition is how ancient poets make their points. Line 90, thus both of them weeping addressed their dear son, repeatedly beseeching. So first you have Priam mentioned, then you have Hecuba, his mom, mentioned, and now you get a little thing where both of them are mentioned. Why? I get the point. His parents are concerned about him. Why is the poem driving that point home? That his parents are sitting there watching. His parents are concerned about him. Why? What is the effect? Anyone? Yeah.
It's inevitable that Hector's going to die.
It's inevitable that Hector's going to die. We know that. It's inevitable that a lot of people are going to die. Why are we told repeatedly that his parents are there? Yeah.
It's a reminder of what the state thinks.
What is at stake?
Well, if he dies, then everything he stands for, and including his parents, are going to die.
Yeah. Think of it also as if, okay, this is a great climactic battle. His parents are there. His parents are watching. His parents are crying. He has connections. He has a family that is sitting there watching it. Achilles has a goddess for a mother. She pops in and out. You know, absentee mom. His father is an old man living back in Greece. He is not at the war. Achilles has no such network around him. Achilles had his one friend, Patroclus, who was killed. That was his one big connection. And that just threw him into a rage, and that's why he's back in the war. But he has no one. He is all alone. He is repeatedly referenced as being alone. When people come to see him, he is always alone. In Book 9, a group of fellow heroes, led by Odysseus, come to see him and try and encourage him back into the war. And you would think, well, okay, it's his buddies, and at first he's into it and saying, hey, guys, great to see you. Let's have a drink. But there's a wall there. They're not his buddies. He doesn't connect with them. Hector is connected. Hector has a wife. Achilles does not. Hector has a son. Achilles does not. Well, he does. But Achilles is always alone. You get this inevitable conflict between them, where Achilles is portrayed as somewhat ferocious. They swift-footed Achilles, the great epithet, proves that by running after Hector. And in fact, they do circles around the city. And Hector knowing that, well, okay, he's going to kill me. Hector is a great warrior, but he's not stupid. And more importantly, Hector is a human being. Achilles has a goddess for a mother. Achilles is not quite human. And so when they're running around the city, Achilles is just jogging along there. Not busting a sweat at all. Oh, I can do this all day. In fact, I am. Hector is probably, feeling the burn a little bit more. Hector is merely human. But the merely plays out in interesting ways. At certain points, we are reminded of just how human he is, but really no more so than when they finally stop running. Let's see. Well, we don't need to go over that. Line 254. Hector, presumably a little winded, stops running, turns, and faces him. Says, "No longer, son of Peleus, shall I flee from you, as before I fled 3 times around the great city of Priam." And you can see him sort of winning, like, yeah, that was nothing for you. You're kind of like 2/3 God or whatever. The math is always weird with God. I'm human. My heart rate is going like crazy, and I'm very sweaty and stinky. So you can see that's sort of a sore point that he's starting with that. "Nor could then endure to withstand your charge. But now my spirit stirs me to hold firm before you. I will kill you or be killed. But come, let us take an oath upon our gods, for they will be the best witnesses and protectors of agreement. I will not, outrageous though you are, dishonor you if Zeus grants me to endure and I take your life. But when I have stripped you of your splendid armor, Achilles, I will give your body back to the Achaeans and do you the same." What's he doing there? There.
I'm not gonna deal with Achilles. If I were to kill you, I'd give your body back. If you kill me, do the same.
Yeah. Which is, it shows that concern for funeral rites that we were talking about. The idea that, all right, it's less about, it'll suck if I'm dead, but my body needs to be protected and preserved and given a proper burial. But you also have the unavoidable fact that Hector is trying to make a deal. Hector is trying to strike a contract, if you will, a gentleman's agreement. It's a sign of some civilization, is it not? An agreement that, okay, no matter what, we're going to honor our basic cultures. We both care about the condition of our body. We both care about the afterlife and funeral rites and all that stuff. So let's just stipulate that we will honor that. Gentleman's agreement. What's Achilles' reaction? Yeah, Achilles essentially spits in his face. "Hector, doer of unforgettable deeds, do not to me propose agreements, as there are no pacts of faith between lions and men, nor do wolves and lambs have spirit and kind, but they plot evil unremittingly for one another," yada, yada, yada. What is his go-to analogy here? Achilles is not just saying, no, I have reviewed the terms of the contract and I find them not to my satisfaction. My lawyer will be in touch. He doesn't do that. He throws it back in Hector's face and says, there can be no pacts of faith between lions and men. Who is the lion in this? Him. Who is the man? Hector. In this construction, what do lions do to men? Well, probably more than just kill them. It's not just sport. Yeah, I'm going to say that there's going to be some chowing down going on here. But the fact is, Hector identifies with the lion, the beast. Hector sees himself as a beast. Throughout this, you can see repeated animal metaphors coming up. Let me see, or similes, technically. If you want to get Englishy on me. Let me see. As a mountain hawk, he is compared at one point. Totally losing it. Single-hooved horses. The idea is, in a weird way, Achilles, the son of the goddess, who isn't quite human, is in this more beast than man. He is operating on a law of the jungle mentality. He doesn't recognize society. He doesn't recognize civilization. He doesn't recognize contracts, basic agreements of good behavior between human beings, which is what Hector is proposing. Achilles spits in his face, denies the contract, and kills him. But it doesn't end there. What happens after Hector dies? Well, yeah, but even before that. Around line 370. But the other sons of the Achaeans ran up around him and admired Hector's physique and beauty, nor was there a man who stood by him without inflicting a wound. What's going on there? Yeah, but after the wow, he's a good-looking guy thing dies down, what do they start to do?
They were like more like they were honoring him more so that
Honoring?
They started like
Stabbing! They honored him by, cutting up the corpse a little bit more. And just imagine this also. We're not told who these soldiers are. They're just unnamed soldiers. People who get names are always important. People who don't get them for a reason. There are a lot of names in these Greek stories that, are held to try and pronounce or remember, but there are a lot of names. So it's not from, well, they just couldn't think up a name. No, these people don't get names. Presumably, they've been sort of, hanging back in the back of the fighting for quite a while, and now, oh, Hector's dead, their greatest hero, I'm going to go up and act tough. Yeah, you're some hero you are now. Yeah, you're just a pile of goo. Hey, take that! Ha! Desecrating the body. Tough guys. Kicking a man when he's down. As down as you can be. A basic violation of, I would say, anyone's moral code. Okay, fine. Achilles didn't buy into the whole, gentleman's agreement. But it seems like we're going a step below when now we're just coming up and, kicking a course. They're following Achilles' lead, however. Achilles is the hero. And they're cluing in, it seems to me, into that permission structure. Might be the term of art today. And this is proven soon enough when Achilles does what? Drags his body. Takes a leather strap, pierces it through the ankle, the tendon of the ankle, and attaches it to the back of his own chariot. The tendon of the ankle is a nice little touch. Grand stories like this sometimes, don't go for the subtle points, but it is the ankle where Achilles is later killed himself. He is invulnerable except in that little Achilles tendon connecting the ankle to the foot. And he is ultimately shot there and dies because of it. But this is, of course, the exact spot that he runs that little piece of leather through and attaches it to the back of his chariot and then drags Hector around the city. We know his parents are watching. We know the entire city is watching. Everyone with whom Hector has a connection, meaning everyone, is watching as his body is dragged, mangled behind Achilles' chariot. He's already dead. What's the point? Achilles won't let go of his rage, wrath, meaning the first word in this poem. He is consumed by it, and he can't break out of it.